What's up, internet people? It's your boy Replicat. I'm here to talk about KingKrusher, the new multi-effects workstation for a brave new future. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing on everybody's mind is obviously the Krush knob. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. The Krush slider is going to control bit crush and downsample. Check this out. We can use the Quant button to snap the bit crush and downsample to whole number values. There are 8-bit crush algorithms that can be used to change the sound in interesting ways. The BTK algorithm is a bit crush only. Likewise, the DWN algorithm is downsample only. Use the SLOOH slider to slew the signal. If you don't know what SLOOH is, this is SLOOH. The AA button toggles anti-aliasing, but you can't really hear the difference most of the time, so I'm not going to demonstrate that one, but that's what that is. It's anti-aliasing. Over to the right here, we got the mix section, and the first thing you're going to see there is the mix slider, which obviously controls the mix. Next, we got the output slider, which is going to turn the volume of the overall plugin up and down. I do not believe that needs demonstration, fairly self-explanatory. Below that, we got the limiter button, the LM button, which is going to toggle the peak limiter, preventing you from clipping, hopefully. Next to that, we have the auto gain button, the AG button here, which is going to, of course, toggle auto gain, which is going to attempt to match the input volume. So if you have a quieter input signal, it's going to automatically turn down your output gain to match that quieter input signal. The same is true for a louder signal. So if you were to, for instance, add a lot of saturation and it was increasing the volume of your channel, your track, you can go ahead and turn on the auto gain, and that's going to bring it down for you to match the mix that you already had going. Usually what you want to do is go ahead and actually just adjust the output volume itself, but the auto gain is there when you need it. The next button to the right of auto gain is the oversample button. This is going to, do what it says on the tin. It's going to oversample your signal. That can do some interesting things when you are adding in a lot of crushing, adding a wave folding or saturation. You should go ahead and experiment with that, but do note that it does use a little bit more of your system resources when you have that toggled, and it really does change the sound, so it's not always what you want to use. So onto the delay section here. This is a pretty straightforward delay system. However, one thing that's pretty cool about it is it does have analog tape delay emulation, which means you're going to get that cool, spacey, warbly effect when you change the delays, and it's going to give a little bit of a darker sound each time the delay goes through the delay loop. So let's check out the delay here a little bit. You can change the delay mix and time independently for each channel. We can also put the delays in free mode, which desyncs them from your tempo. You can use the slow button to make the delay times twice as long. This is really useful when you're working on a song in double time. The link button toggles between 3 different delay linking modes. The first mode links both the delay time and the delay mix. The second linking mode links mix only, while the third mode only links the delay time. The Dwidth slider controls the stereo mix of the left and right delay channels. At maximum, you have maximum stereo width, and at minimum, you have full mono. The final feature we're going to cover on this side of the plugin is the freeze button. The freeze button just freezes whatever is in your delay line right now and just locks that in place and plays it over and over. It's kind of like a cool breakbeat glitch effect thing. Let's check it out. there's a lot more to be said about the delay section, the Krush slider, and a lot of the other features that we've talked about already. I'm going to go back into those when I talk about advanced features later. But for now, that was a pretty good overview. Now we're going to move over to the other side of the plugin. We're going to cover the effects section over here, as well as the routing section and a few other features that are tucked in here. Let's take a look. The first effect that we have up here in the top left is the noise and width effect. We can turn up the noise to add in a nice analog-y sounding kind of vinyl record type noise. I spent a lot of time building that noise feature, so I hope everybody likes it. The width slider is a pretty simple utility. You can go from a full wide stereo signal to 100% stereo, added stereo width, down to a complete mono signal. So you can sum your stereo signals down into mono, great for bass lines, stuff like that. That being said, this particular track doesn't have a whole lot of stereo image, so we're not going to hear a lot here when I move the stereo width knob, but we'll check it out. Get out, 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 get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. So every effect slot here actually has a second effect to it, and we can click this one button here to toggle over to the secondary effect, which is a tremolo vibrato in this case, and we can switch back and forth between these whenever we want. They can be bypassed individually, changed individually. There's really no link between them. They're not exclusive, nothing like that. This is just how they're stored in the interface here. And then right above that button, we have the bypass button. Every section has a bypass button. We can use that to, obviously bypass the effect, but that covers the basic controls for this section. So let's talk about the vibrato and tremolo here. This is a somewhat unique vibrato and tremolo system in that the vibrato rate and the tremolo rate are linked together. They're always the same. Let's see how it works. So if we want to add tremolo to this, we need to use the XY pad over here. Let me show you. So for this effect slot, the Y-axis controls the depth of the tremolo. The X-axis controls the rate of the tremolo and the vibrato. Let's see. Just like with the delay times, we can set the tremolo into free mode and desync it from the beat. The shape slider can change us between a downward saw and an upward saw. So if we go one section down here, we got the saturator and tone section. This is an analog style saturator. It's going to add some nice analog warmth, some harmonics to your mix. The tone is going to let you shift from a lighter to a darker mix. Let's see how it sounds. So if we switch over to the alternate mode here for the saturation and tone section, we're going to get a wave folder, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like saturation. It's just going to give you so many more harmonics. I'm not going to go into a ton of depth about this because it's kind of self-explanatory from the visualizer over here to the right. This is just literally what it's doing to your waveform. Let's just check it out. So that was pretty cool, huh? But you know what's really cool is this little G button down here. The wave folder and the saturation section have one. What it does is it toggles the auto gain just for this part of your signal chain. That's going to keep you from clipping and overdriving your signal too much so that it doesn't enter the rest of the signal chain already clipping, and then there's just nothing you can do about it. This is something you're probably going to want to leave on. So everything over here to the right of the tone control, the A, F, and pencil button, the X, Y pad on the visualizer area, all of that is used for controlling the LFO, which can modulate this section. Every section has an LFO. We're going to go into that in a bit when we get to the filter section, because that actually just makes it a little bit easier to see what's going on with the LFOs. But don't worry, we will be covering that. Looks like the next one we got down here is the Highpass section. This is going to be something that most people are familiar with already, so I won't go into great detail. It's just a Highpass filter. You can crank that resonance up pretty high if you want to, but yeah, it's Highpass, you know how it works. So the alternate effect slot for Highpass is something you probably haven't seen before. This is the split effect, and basically what it does is it's going to split your signal using a low-pass filter. It's going to take the lower half of that signal, and it's going to crush that part of the signal. The remaining part of the signal, the higher part of the signal, will not be crushed. And what this is going to do for you is it's going to allow you to preserve some of your fragile, high-wave, high-frequency, signals like piano notes, high piano notes, hi-hats, stuff like that. It's a bit of a utility, but it actually can be used to sound really cool. I don't know. I think let's just see how it works. Let's check this out. So the first thing we're going to want to do is crank up the Krush a bit, because that's what this is operating on. Let's do it. This feature can be a little hard sometimes to wrap your head around, but it's really cool. It's very powerful. It's a really great mixing technique when you're working with drums, bass lines, stuff like that, and you really do just want to get that crunchy lower band, which is generally what you're looking for with a bit Krusher anyway. A lot of times you're going to filter out the high end, and you really don't need to do that when you're using the split filter, especially because we can actually enable the low pass filter itself to apply to the signal using this L button down here. Let's see what that sounds like. It's pretty much the same idea, just with the filter actually applied to the signal instead of just being used to split the signal. Anyway, yeah, let's see it. Or hear it. When you turn on the low-pass filter for the split filter, it works even without Krush. It creates kind of like a one-pole phaser effect. Next up, we got the low-pass filter, another pretty straightforward, self-explanatory one. Let's see how it works really quick, and then I got something a lot more exciting. Alright, finally time to talk about LFOs. So if we look over here to the right of the resonance slider, we see these A, F, and pencil buttons, and then to the right of that we have our visualizer area, which is actually an XY pad. We demonstrated this a little bit before, showing the Vibrato Tremolo section controlling the depth. It really works in a very similar way for all of the LFOs. The X is going to control the rate of the LFO, the Y is going to control the depth of the LFO. Low pass is a really good way to check out the LFO. You can really hear it working, so let's do a little demo here of the LFO. And just like you've likely come to expect, every LFO section has a free mode, which will desync you from the beat and allow you to operate without being synced to the beat. You can use this to slide between different time intervals. You can use it to do pretty much whatever you want. Then down on the bottom here, we have the edit button, which is going to do two things. It's going to let you change the phase, and it's going to let you change the shape of the LFO. There's four shapes. We got a sine wave, we got a saw up, we got a saw down, we got a triangle, and we got a square. So if it's not clear from watching this video, you can control the XY pads just by hovering your mouse over the visualizer, the XY pad area, and just dragging with your mouse. If you hold down shift or right click, you're only going to control the depth. Otherwise, you're just controlling the XY pad in general. Just give it a shot. So the secondary effect for the low-pass filter is the comb filter, and let me just warn you, this one can get a little bit wacky. Anyway, I don't know, let's just check it out. Super cool spaceman. So under the comb filter, we got our reverb. Pretty simple reverb here, but it does sound great. It has been fine-tuned by me to sound great. Why not? Let's check it out. And as the secondary effect to reverb, we got a flanger, or a flanger, or it's called a flanger, and that's what we got. So this is kind of like a moving comb filter. You can get some kind of ninth dimensional LFO movement going on here. Easier to show you, as always. Let's check it out. And below the flanger, we got wow and we got chorus. Actually, we got wow and flutter. That's right, you heard me. We got wow and flutter. That just says wow, but that is wow, and that is flutter. The wow and flutter section is also controlled, along with the chorus, by this wow plus chorus speed slider down here. Let's, I don't know, check it out. The final alternate section that we're going to explore here is the phaser. Down there to the right of the wow and chorus speed is the gate. This is a noise gate. You can turn it up to cut your signal when it goes below the threshold. This is good for really noisy stuff, trying to get really tight drums, things like that. Why not check it out? So between the wow chorus speed and gate sliders, we have this special section here that lets us turn these sliders into an LFO that controls the crush depth. So that actually covers all of the effects. That's it. That's all the effects. But wait, there's more. There's no more effects, I don't think, unless I forgot one. But what there is the routing section. This is cool. Let's take a look. So to open the routing screen, what you do is you click this route button up here in the top left corner of the screen. That's going to pop it open, and when you're there, you see all of the effects that we have. They all have their own individual route elements, and you can just grab these and drag them wherever you want to go, and the route, the chain, it's just going to automatically update for you. Right then and there, you can click done when you're done. You can randomize it if you would like to, but you just move these wherever you'd like them to go. It can really, really change your sound. Once you've designed a patch, you can experiment with this, or if you really know what you're doing, you can put these into a specific order and get all kinds of wildly different sounds out of this thing. Very, very powerful feature. I hope I made it pretty easy to use. Go ahead and play with it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. So that is pretty much it for the basic features here. I think we've covered everything. I'm going to make another video that goes over the advanced features, and then maybe even, we'll see what happens from there. If you have any questions, if you'd like to know more about the plugin, you want to check it out, come jump over to the Discord. Link is below, and I would be very happy to chat with you. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're enjoying KingKrusher, and have an excellent rest of time.